Hello everybody, my name is Sam Cook, and I just want to thank you all so much for tuning in to the first ever episode of Cookn Matrix. This is a podcast that me and my friend Peyton started, and it's a review podcast, but this first episode is mainly an introduction to not only ourselves, but what the podcast is going to be about. I hope you enjoy this podcast, and stick around for any new episodes coming around in the future. Hello everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Cookn Matrix. Hope you enjoyed the little announcer voice intro. That's going to be the temporary, introduction for the episodes as we're going forward in this time of self-isolating quarantine. But yeah, welcome to the first episode of the Cookn Matrix podcast.
I am Joe Matrix, and this is Sam, and I didn't mean to do your intro just then for you, but I'm sorry.
Fine, you already did your intro, but like he said, his name is Peyton, and his YouTube channel is Joe Matrix, and I'm Sam from Cookn Reviews, as well as Cookn Media Studios.
We are just here to introduce ourselves, most part.
Pretty much, and sorry for a bit of audio interference. It is currently raining on Peyton's end. Hopefully the rain...
I'm really sorry, people. I'm not trying to... I don't control the weather. I'm not trying to...
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to rain at this time.
Yeah. If you can't tell, we're very new at this whole podcasting thing, so we don't have a studio set up at all.
Yeah, I'm in my car. So I'm not in an official studio or anything.
No,
Sam's quite clearly in his room.
Yes, definitely. And hopefully going forward, we'll get a more professional setup, but for the moment, this is the best with what we got.
Basically.
But yeah, like Peyton said, we're going to be introducing ourselves this episode and talking about the show as a whole. So Peyton, why don't you start out with just introducing yourself and how you got into the field of broadcasting or media production.
I started out in college. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and eventually I just went into the field of mass media and communications and stuff like that. And me and Sam met in the back of a parking lot after biology one class, and he's just like, hey, let's do a podcast. And I'm like, yeah, that would actually be a pretty good idea. And then we just sort of laughed it off. Then the next semester, we actually had a broadcasting class. And then we just looked at each other and we knew in our eyes, this was it.
This was the opportune moment. We went through a whole class on how to make a podcast, so we might as well do it. Or at least give it a shot.
And we talked about it for the longest time, but really, I just randomly happened upon getting into the mass communications major.
Well, my story is actually a bit more long form, I guess you could say. Back in middle school, I discovered that my friend had a YouTube channel and he was making short comedy videos. And that blew my mind just because I'd been watching YouTube for a while at that point. And I guess I just had the mindset of there's no way someone I know could be making YouTube videos, you know what I mean? It was an exclusive club of sorts, and then I was like, but when I found out
cool kids did it.
Yeah, kids or just random kids or just adults with a lot of money did it. And then, but when I found out he had the channel, I was like, you have to put me in a video. And he did, so I started acting in his YouTube videos for a long time. Eventually, he slowly but surely stopped making YouTube videos to pursue other creative fields. And that was the time I decided I'm going to make my own YouTube channel. And I took a couple of classes in high school, broadcasting classes. And YouTube channel grew. I started out on Cookn Media, lost control of that channel due to reasons I might explain in a future episode. Started Cookn Media Studios, and then eventually the channel you're on right now, Cookn Reviews.
That is interesting. I think my first time I ever come across YouTube or wanting to be a YouTuber was, I think Jacob actually introduced it to me. And I thought,
Ninja Blob Productions.
Yeah. Anyway, so sort of got into it that way. I started making videos. They weren't good. I still wouldn't call them great. I just know how to edit better now.
Are
I
anyone's
used to.
first videos ever great?
You have a fair point. They're just something to cringe back on.
Yes. Eventually, we might do an episode where we react to old videos that we made. Again, that's a possibility. We'll see in the future. Peyton is visibly and emotionally and physically uncomfortable with that idea.
You don't understand. My first video, I think, was a guy jumping over a fence, and that's it.
Well, I meant like first scripted videos. That was a script, wasn't it?
Sam, none of my videos are scripted.
Well, at least one of us said it. But Peyton is actually kind of right. We met in a history class, I think our second semester of community college. And
yeah, our freshman year.
yeah, something like that. And then we went through a biology class, which the least said about the better.
Which really, even though it sucked, it really made us friends.
Ironically, me and Peyton bonded over two things in that class. Our dislike of it, and Naruto. And don't worry, we'll get to Naruto at a later date.
I wonder how we even come up on the topic Naruto.
I think I was just talking about Naruto on Netflix, and you said you were watching it, and I was like, hey, we have that thing in common. Want to talk about it, like, every time we meet?
I think they just released all the 9 seasons on Netflix, and I just started finishing off the original series.
Yeah.
At that time. Mm-hmm. Now I'm on Shippuden, and it's really long.
Yeah, but then, like Peyton said, we started talking about video ideas in the parking lot because of our YouTube channels. But then I think one of us just, funnily enough, like just said the idea. Wouldn't it be funny if we did a podcast? And we were both like laughing, you know, like, yeah, right, that'd be really funny. And then we laughed for a second, and it was like one of those movie moments, you know what I mean? Where they're just like, that'll be the day. Although.
Then we started talking about everything that we would do for season 1.
Yes.
And they continued on until we went into broadcasting class, where we even planned season 2 a little bit.
Yes. And I don't know if it was just me, but over Christmas break, I almost debated the idea of not doing it because we were getting nowhere. We talked about it for almost a whole semester.
And basically, we didn't do anything about it. We had this idea, we didn't do anything on it.
Yeah.
Wondered if it was ever going to happen.
Pretty much, and I don't know if it was just me, I don't know if you were thinking this as well, Peyton, but I debated the idea of, should we even do it? We're not even progressing at all with it. And then broadcasting, literally the first thing they said was, the goal of this class will be to make a podcast. And at that moment, we knew we have to at least attempt this.
And here we are.
Yes, this could go embarrassingly bad, but we're doing it anyway.
I get the feeling, well, nobody's first ever has that many viewers.
It's like Rock Lee said in the battle with him against Gaara. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
I'd forgotten about that, but I remembered it now.
Shows you my memory skills. But yeah, let's just go ahead and talk about what the show's going to be about.
Where do we start? We review movies, we review video games, we review anything that you want to listen to.
Pretty much. I think for the podcast, since it's mainly an audio format, we're going to keep this mainly movies and TV shows, just because reviewing video games without some sort of visual aid would be rather difficult. But don't worry, we will most likely do visual formats, like where we actually have footage going on as we're talking about the game. Although that might be something outside of the podcast, but let us know in the comments below, because we're going to be posting this video on Peyton's channel and my review channel. So
we have season 1 planned out, but later, if we get more requests, then we'll start doing what you guys might want us to do.
Exactly. And again, comment down below, what would you like to see us do? Because we might end up doing it sometime in the near future, after like episode 20. Because we
Even if you have like some constructive criticism, it'd really help.
Absolutely, because again, like I said earlier on in the video, we are very new at the podcasting, I guess, game, if you want to call it. So any constructive criticism would be good at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And as for a schedule, like when are we gonna do it? How often are we gonna do it? The simple answer is we don't know.
We're 20. We don't understand how to plan things.
Exactly. Not to mention, Peyton is still in community college. I just graduated from community college like a couple weeks ago at the time of recording this.
Hopefully I'll get out soon.
Yep. And after this whole COVID thing calms down, I'm planning on getting a job, which will undoubtedly put a halt on certain productions. So, at the moment, the podcast is just when we're able to do it, we'll do it.
And once every few weeks, probably.
Yes. Although, originally we were going to do every other week, which may end up happening, but we'll see.
It seems doable, depending on the job, of course. Because I'm planning to get a job as well.
Absolutely, after the whole COVID thing calms down.
Somehow I don't think this is going to make enough ad revenue for this to be our job.
At the moment, no.
No.
Peyton, have you seen how many subscribers I have on my review channel?
Something like 50, right?
4. It's the main channel where I have all the subscribers.
You have 221 on your main channel, if I'm right.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, if you guys can help us get this show popular, we will eventually, of course, do more episodes more frequently. Right, Peyton?
Yes, and I'm going to try to make us a Twitter account, specifically for our podcast.
Yes, but
for future episodes, so we can do like votes or just stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So we get the name out there.
And if you... Again, we're going to be posting this on both Peyton's main channel and my review channel. So if you give this video a like and start commenting, we will definitely, most likely, come back and do another episode.
Without a doubt.
Yes. But I think that's the basic idea of the show as a whole. Do you agree, Peyton?
I do agree. There's not really much else to add.
Yeah. So, now we're going to be talking about something a bit more fun, I guess you could say. We're going to be talking about what we've been doing during this time of social isolation. Specifically, what video games we've been playing and what movies and TV shows we've been watching. Peyton, why don't you start us off?
What video games have I been playing? Well, recently I've been playing Kingdom Come Deliverance. Have you ever played it?
I don't think so. Is it like a hack and slash? I think it's a hack and slash, right?
A hack and slash?
Yeah. Do you not know what a hack and slash is?
No, I don't. Never heard that term.
Look up Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. You will know immediately what a hack and slash is.
Oh,
Not right now.
Oh, you said look it up. I'm just like, hey.
We're in the middle of a podcast.
You gotta...
But anyway, tell me about this game. I'm curious.
So, I guess people would relate it most to Skyrim, but it's not anywhere near what Skyrim is. It's a lot harder. It's boring. More boring, I guess you'd say. It's more realistic.
This isn't a very good advertisement for this game.
I mean, I'm not saying it's boring at times. I'm just saying it's not constant action like Skyrim. It has boring times throughout the game. It's an overall fun game to play, and I really like it. But there's points where it's just sort of, the story is, it's sort of lame.
Other than that, I know you've been playing Apex Legends. Or did you have something else to say about the game?
One more thing. Fun game, get it, play it, you'll like it. If you like realistic games. It sort of gives you the feel of playing with a character that actually is human and not superhuman. Apex Legends?
Yeah, because I saw you recorded a hour and a half long live stream of it.
and I actually thought that my friends' voices could be heard, which apparently they could not. I'm not happy about that.
Hindsight is 2020, my friend.
And Apex Legends, I really like that battle royale. I think it's the best battle royale out there. I enjoy playing it. I enjoy the characters. I enjoy that there's actually lore to the characters. And overall, it's fun gameplay. And there's a variety of weapons and characters you can choose from.
Any other games, or do you want to move on to what movies and shows you've been watching?
Movies and shows. My friend recently started me out on Breaking Bad.
What do you think of that?
The start of it kind of freaked me out a little bit. It gets a little better as it goes on.
I mean, the show does start off with a guy in his underwear driving an RV, pointing a gun at the cops, and the cops just happen to avoid a guy pointing a gun at them.
Which is strange.
I mean, in real life, Walter White would have immediately died in that first episode right after that.
Well, he's dying anyway.
Yes, but at the same time, if you point a gun at the cops, I don't think they're just going to immediately go by you.
Was he pointing a gun? All I seen was he pulled it out.
I think he points it, but how far are you into Breaking Bad?
I am still only on season 1. I am not far into it at all. There's like 5 seasons if I'm right. Or is there 6?
5 or 6, I know for sure.
I think there's 5.
The show, I haven't watched the whole show. This is me. I watched like the first 2 seasons and then half of 3 and then just skipped to the last 2 episodes because I knew what was going to happen by the end of it.
It was sort of just trying to drag out the series.
I guess so. I mean, don't get me wrong. Quality-wise, the show is fantastic. Like, the writing and the acting of it, on a whole nother level. It's just, the part, when I went into Breaking Bad, I was sort of expecting it to be sort of like a episode that worked off Aaron Paul and Bryan Cranston's characters. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting the show for them to mostly play off each other, which if you watch this series, that's not at all how it goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those characters are separated for a lot of the series. But I did come back to watch the El Camino movie. That was like the last thing I watched of it.
I haven't actually watched any movies in a while.
Really? So it's only been TV shows on your end?
For the most part. I don't really watch a lot of TV shows in my spare time, to be honest. Sometimes I read books. I mean...
Well, what books have you been reading? Is it the Naruto manga?
No, it's not. Well, actually, it was whenever I was working on my schoolwork, but...
I know, you brought it to campus a lot.
I only brought it 4 times.
Peyton?
And left it in my car.
But when you started getting the manga, you brought it a majority of the time before we went into quarantine.
Fair point. I probably would buy more manga. The book I'm reading is called Rise and Ruin. Basically, it's about a magic girl who gets chased down by an evildoer.
Like every good story.
Yes. Come to think of it, I think I described a lot of books there.
You probably did. So is that it on your end? Like any other games, movies, shows, or books you want to talk about?
There probably are a few, but let's hear what you've been listening to, Sam.
Listening to?
I mean, watching, doing, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how to word it.
In terms of like games, I've only really been playing one recently. That's the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Oh, I've seen when that came out.
Yes. It is, of course, a remake of the original Final Fantasy VII. And a lot of people consider the original to be one of, if not the greatest games ever made. Because a lot of people grew up on that game, you know what I mean? It was like their first introduction to RPGs of that level.
I think I only ever played Final Fantasy 13, and even then I didn't complete it. I just never really got into it.
Ironically, the one game you played in that series is considered to be one of the worst games in that series.
Why did my friend loan it to me? It wasn't Sam. It was a friend. It wasn't Sam.
No, again, like, this is technically the first Final Fantasy game I've ever completed, or I guess you could say even played. But I had an absolute blast with it. It took me about 40 hours to get through the whole story mode.
And that's just one game?
Yeah. I probably should mention, this isn't even the whole game. This is like the first part of the remake.
Really?
Yes, they wanted to, like, the original game, they basically took 6 hours from the original game and expanded it to 40 hours.
That sounds like a lot of time for gamers to stay awake.
Yes, it was like, mainly they expanded on like the world itself and the characters. And when I say the gameplay is like amazing, but it's the story that had me coming back. I see like a bit of, I don't know what you call it, speculation on your end, or just like hesitation on your end.
Like I said, never really played the game. I mean, played that game. But, I mean, I know a little bit about the characters and a little bit about the story. Because it's such a popular game, but I've just never played it.
If you feel like playing it, I would say absolutely get it. The only thing is, I would recommend at least knowing like who the characters are and
Cloud.
Yes.
Tifa. Or is it Tifa?
What?
Or is it Tifa? Who's the barkeeper?
It is definitely Tifa. Trust me, I know Tifa. You can romance. You can. A lot of people have ironically called it the best waifu simulator of 2020. Which is like.
Tifu is Sam's waifu.
Tifu? Is that what you just said?
Tifu, man.
Oh, geez. Okay, but basically the story is great. All the characters are fantastic, and I think at the moment now, the second part of the remake is what I'm looking forward to the most in the coming years, out of anything.
The thing that I think that has kept me from playing it the most is probably I like to play games in order. Well, I don't like to go out of order.
Well, Peyton, here's the thing. Each Final Fantasy is a completely different story and characters.
So I've heard, but...
Like, it's sort of an anthology series, you know what I mean?
I've heard that, but still, I don't know.
Peyton, I hate to tell you this, but at the moment, I guess the PS1 games are like the easiest ones to get copies of because they're like the most readily available through like digital purchases.
So spend $99 on a PS1?
Or a PS2 if you've got one.
Cousin who's got a PS2, but I don't have one.
Do you have a PlayStation 4?
I do.
Then all the PlayStation 1 games are available digitally. In fact, I went and bought the original Final Fantasy VII, which is only $15 on PlayStation Store. So, again, you don't have to play the previous games to understand this one. Which might be a good thing in the long run, just because, again, I hear a lot of the older games are fantastic, but at the same time, they're sort of harder to come by.
I haven't really seen much of Final Fantasy games for sale anywhere, really. Mm-hmm. But then again, I've never looked for them.
Yeah. I'm trying to get more into the series now, just because I enjoyed the remake so much. But we'll see where that goes. Other than that, I literally have not been playing a whole lot of other games. It's literally just been the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like, I beat the story, and now I'm going back and doing some of the side quests and, like, stuff I missed.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Any shows or movies?
Quite a few, actually. I've started last year, I made a list of movies I watched in 2019 and ranked them. Even though that's like a simple thing to do, I really enjoyed doing that. So I'm trying to make a habit of watching more movies that come out during the year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've been watching some 2020 movies, and I actually have a list right here, if I can pull it up. Yes, movies that I've seen. I saw I Still Believe, which was like a Christian movie about the singer Jeremy Camp and his first wife.
Never heard of it.
Did you say never heard of it?
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
It's a Christian chick flick, but it's got a nice story to it.
I mean, I don't really mind chick flicks. I actually like romance movies, strangely enough, or romantic comedies.
As long as they're written well.
Yeah,
Which is
pretty much.
rare.
They're, as long as they have a good story to it, as long as I like the story, I'm all about story. I'm all about lore.
Yeah,
Whenever it comes to a TV show, game, anything.
Mm-hmm. We watched Jumanji: The Next Level.
Seen that. Good movie.
Yeah.
Not as quite as good as the first one.
No, Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, I think, is still a better movie. I will say though, the ending to Next Level sets up a great third one.
It does.
Which I'm not going to say it. We'll probably talk about it once we've stopped recording this, because again, spoilers.
Bet Robin Williams comes back.
Dude, that might be offensive to most people. You know what I mean? Just like CGI Robin Williams back into the movie.
Yes.
Which they are doing. They're bringing James Dean back digitally for like a Vietnam movie, I think.
I know how mad some people get whenever they bring back CGI characters, but I really feel like it would make the movie better. This is my opinion. If they bring back CGI Robin Williams. As rough as that may sound.
I will discuss that with you off camera. Because that is a whole nother bag of worms entirely. And I'm not talking gummy worms.
It may be a rough thing to mention, but I just felt like I needed to say it.
Yeah. We watched 1917.
I really want to watch that movie. It looks so good.
Yeah, the one take. Have you heard about the one take camera techniques they did for that?
I've heard that never has been done before.
I mean, they've done one takes before, but as far as doing a whole movie to look like a one take.
And the movie, how long is the movie?
About an hour and 40 to an hour and 50 something minutes long.
Yeah, that's a hard to do in a one take.
Yes. Although, I probably should mention, you probably know this though, it's not actually a one take, just because they do a lot of hidden cuts, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, that's understandable.
Because I think doing that whole movie in a one take would have been completely impossible.
I think it'd been possible, but if you mess one thing up, you gotta restart it. And
there's no way.
That's a lot of time that'd be wasted.
There's a major difference between doing those Daredevil one-take fight scenes and doing the whole movie like that, so I don't think it could work. But then we watched The Way Back, which was that Ben Affleck basketball movie. It's a pretty good movie. Easily the best thing about it was Ben Affleck, because he gives a great performance in that movie.
He usually does.
Yeah. Then the last movie was Bloodshot.
Sounds like a ripoff of Deadshot.
I mean, Vin Diesel stars in it, and it's based off a comic book character from a company called Valiant.
Really?
Yes. I'll say it's a fun watch, but at the same time, the best part of the movie is like the final battle, and you can just look that up on YouTube.
Fair enough.
I will say the dumbest part of the whole movie is the female character in the movie. Her name is Katie, right? Her initials are KT.
Wow.
I want you to hear that again. Her name is KT, and her initials are KT. I'm not even gonna...
It's emotionless feeling there.
Yeah. And then finally, TV shows I've been watching. Finished up Clone Wars a while ago, which was amazing. Let me be more specific. The final 4 episodes are fantastic.
They wrapped it off well.
Yes. The rest of the season, the season has 12 episodes with 3 storylines in it. First storyline is pretty good. Not gonna lie, it's actually kind of enjoyable. The second storyline is hot garbage. It's like so bad. And then the final 4 are just absolutely maybe the best thing Disney has done with Star Wars.
Does it make up for the ending of the,
Are you talking about
Last
The
Jedi?
Rise of... I like The Last Jedi.
I liked it too, but they could have done better with it.
I mean, have you seen Rise of Skywalker?
No, I haven't.
I
I have it on DVD.
I'm not gonna tell you anything about The Rise of Skywalker. All I will say is, The Last Jedi means nothing to The Rise of Skywalker. I'm not. You'll see, because most of the things they set up in that movie, not very important at all. Like Kylo getting rid of his mask, he gets his mask back. The Resistance being like low in numbers,
That goes away. I've seen that. You can tell that in the trailers.
it's just like, yes, that clearly. This is all I'm going to say about the movie, because The Rise of Skywalker could be an entire episode of Cookn Matrix altogether. But The Rise of Skywalker was clearly made to just please fans who were upset about The Last Jedi. Very obvious when you watch the movie.
And it didn't really work out, based on what I've heard reviews of it.
I'll save my opinions for a video.
I thought The Last Jedi was alright. I didn't think it deserved the hate that it got.
No movie deserves that level of hate.
I just think people were mad because it didn't match their predicted endings. They definitely didn't expect Luke to throw his lightsaber off the edge of the cliff.
Absolutely. I mean, God, again, let's save our opinions for the entire Disney trilogy for a different video, because I
Fair
feel
enough.
like that could be a whole episode of Cookn Matrix.
Do you want to hear the story of Kingdom Come?
My gosh. Okay, that's about it for what I have to say, and I think it's about time to wrap this episode up. Peyton, do you have any closing remarks for the audience?
You play as a blacksmith's son named Henry.
Stop talking about Kingdom Come. We're trying to wrap the show up.
And there's humans on a hill. They murder your parents in front of your eyes. You
This
run
has
away
been
and
Cookn Matrix. I'm Sam from
and
Cookn
you go
Reviews,
away.
Cookn's Media Studios, and this is Peyton from Joe Matrix, here to say thank you for watching. Click the like and subscribe button on both of our channels.
We
and
love you.
We will see you all next time.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, if we do another episode.
Hopefully in person, because people are worried about COVID.
Yep. Goodbye, everybody.
Don't spread it.